All right, we have actually a 3Q game this time. Still unranked. I prefer to play unranked games in teaching, or unranked teaching games. I'm thinking I'm going to focus just a little bit more than usual because it is closer to probably going to be a little bit of a tougher game. And I have dropped these games before, especially when teaching and talking at the same time. So going to be just a little bit more careful, at least, hopefully. My usual time settings here. This time I'm actually just going to go with the shoulder move because that is the actual move. That is the recommended move for kata. That's also the recommended move for kata. So we're going to start with his approach over here. It leaves a lot of options for the corner here. Basic moves right there. I'm going to go underneath. It's kind of interesting. I'm actually going to invade the 3-3 directly. I don't think approaching from either side's actually that great. I don't know why I'm surprised by that. I really shouldn't be. I don't think this is actually good for me. But I will do this because it does... and then I think I'm going to do this. I think this is too much of a wall here to just get this extension. There is a lot of potential here, though, is the thing. But I do think this move's pretty critical. I don't know if this was the right one. I just didn't want him to come down. That's fine. I don't know if this is actually a good move right now. I think I'm going to do like a shoulder hit like this one at this point. These two stones really aren't in trouble. I don't really care about this territory here. There's always the Hane over here. I'm going to go down first here. This is kind of a weird shape. I'm not a huge fan of this shape, obviously. And getting Hane here, I think would be pretty bad. I think getting Hane here would be pretty bad. Because like the stones here are now really weak. And if I just jump, that's fine. But you don't end up with Sente for this, which is kind of an issue. I think I'm just decreasing the possibilities over here for him. So at this point, I'm just going to extend this. Because I don't think, like, with this Atari here, I don't think he can really threaten this much anymore. If he does this, I'm going to go over top. He's going to connect. I'm going to connect. And then I'm just going to, if he does this, I'm just going to go Atari that way. So that invasion was pretty successful. I mean, this doesn't really matter. So he's kind of put himself like there isn't that much. Do I even respond to this? That's the real question. I guess I can. That move, I don't know about that move right now. Strengthening, it's not really strengthening all that much. Because the thing is, if I can make an eye somehow in here, this thing's out of danger, and I don't really know how you're going to not let me make an eye in there. Okay, that invasion is one I've actually talked about a lot, and I don't know if this is actually a good time. I think I'm just going to go this way. There's not that much there. Yeah, this is fine. It does give him a lot of territory over here, though, so I did have to give that up, for sure. But this is essentially like the only decent territory he has right now. And this is Gote for him, by the way, so that's partially why I'm okay with this. What? You definitely don't want to do that with me. Like you really, really don't want to do this with me. Because this particular ko isn't that important for me. But it's really, really important for you. Like, this doesn't really threaten me over here. Um, to me, this doesn't really threaten me. But for him, it would actually threaten him by a lot. So that's not really a ko that... I would say this is not a ko that you really want to fight if you're if you're black. Now, I don't really have that many ko threats. I'll give you that. But this is not a ko that you really want to fight. He actually has a lot of co-threats, so I guess this is okay. I'm just gonna strengthen up here, because this is worth a lot. I'll give him that. But he doesn't really threaten my groups here, so it doesn't matter that much for me. Like, I actually just wanted to get Sente and get a block here. That's really all I really wanted. And I'm okay with just destroying his influence here. I'm perfectly fine with just destroying this influence up here. This is a bit of a loss for me, though, definitely. But, like, realistically, like, this stone when I played here was sacrificial anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much for me. I mean, you're still trying to attack that group, but I just don't know if it's, like... I don't know if this is, like, viable for him. This is one of those things where I can't do this. I mean, yeah, you can get that stone, but it's really not worth all that much. And plus, if I come out that way, you still have problems. So, not really something that's worth a lot. And there's almost no way you can kill me here. I don't think there is a way you can kill me here. Remember, if I come out this way, you still have serious problems. I mean, there's an eye down here. And I can just kind of jump out. I mean, it's... You can't really do anything to this group. Yeah, the thing about that is, like, you don't really possess any threat. Black doesn't really possess any threat. You have to do that, but this isn't really much of a threat either. It's destroying my territory, but at this point, I may not even just... I'm probably not going to answer him. He can't kill the corner group, obviously. And I don't think without an extra move he could have any chance of killing this here. That's a good move, by the way. This, however, I have serious questions about. I probably should have gone down first, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I think he miscalculated this. He completely miscalculated this one. He can't fix this in time. The thing is with this game is like black is pretty much left with this the territory. I don't have to fight. I actually don't have to fight the ko with him at all here. It's generally not a good move. I can just connect this. There's no territory actually be gained there. This is interesting. I think this side's alive. Even if he chose to cut over there. So I wasn't too afraid of that. Okay, so this is very interesting. I think I'm going to do this. I might be giving up these two, though. Not really sure if this is worth it. But I actually think it is, because his group here is in severe trouble. I don't know if he can actually do this. I don't think he can do this. This group here is in severe trouble here. This fight doesn't favor him. I don't have to answer that. I can just Atari this. Oh, can I? Oh crap, maybe I can. I think I made a mistake. That's fine. I mean, like, I won't lose all that much. At most, I'll lose those two. That probably was a mistake by me. Yeah, that was a mistake, but that's fine. Oh, I don't think he wins this. I do not think he wins this fight. Um, see, 1, 2. Does he win this fight? That's a good question. I don't think so. This is a really, I have to think this through here. Could be a Ko, but I don't really want to fight the Ko right now. Fighting a Ko would not be good for me right now. That might be bumping one, though. Up there. Yeah, huh. Let me see if I can do something here. I don't know if I can. Clasp on the outside.
Yoyomi.
I don't exactly know how this works. I think I'm okay, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm, I think I'm okay on this. Yeah, I think I'm one ahead. Pretty sure I'm one ahead. So you have to do this first. That's kind of like the fighting style to Suji in this one. Because oh wait, I didn't do this one right. Dang it. No, well, not the game. I didn't actually get this stream right because I should have done 521 here. So let me do this. Where's the game? It's fine. I'm just gonna play one. Here we go. I'm just gonna play one. All right, let me try that. Should be better. Yes, he does that. I think I can probably just connect back. It's not that big of a deal. Also, I still have this move as well, so I'm really not that afraid. This stone doesn't matter. But he has to answer that. That's fine. Unless I miscalculated this, this should be okay. And even if I did, I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I have this here. So when he pushes here, it's a tiger's mouth, and that's kind of why I did that. There's a problem with this. And the problem is, like, I can just make some eyes. I'm going to connect this first. That's a pretty big move. There's a bigger one, though. Yeah, that's a much bigger move. Yeah, sorry, I didn't make the announcement right. I've been playing this game for a while. I can go back and watch the video if you guys want. It's fine. Just gonna do this. There's a Sente, so I might as well take it to solve problems. Now he's got to be careful with this one. So this group down here isn't alive unless he plays another move. It's alive now, I believe. Yeah, because he has one up here, so I can't kill him now. But that opens this up.
You have won.
All right, let's go back and review this game. This game was played against a higher rank, 3Q, as opposed to my regular games against 6 to 12Q. So this will actually be a pretty good review. A lot more even play in terms of much more even play in terms of like starting moves and things that are big. That's fine. This is okay. This is also okay. That's cool. That's awesome. I mean, I still favor this, but this is perfectly fine. So I invade the 3-3. My reasoning for this is like here, there's just like, because there's still this invasion here, there's just not much territory here. And over here, I feel like this is getting flattened, so this is pretty flat. And so I feel like invading the 3-3 is probably the best move I have. Whoops, what just happened? So I much rather just take away the corner at this point. Definitely much rather just take the corner at this point. Here, okay, I would definitely extend this if I was black, because if you think about it, like, the more you play this way, the weaker this group actually becomes. And if you let me Atari here, you give me a lot of this territory. So I would definitely extend this. I would definitely extend it. And realistically, I would, if I were black, I would definitely think about trading this right now. Because the potential over here is limited, and the invasion here still exists. So getting these two might actually be the best move. So I would definitely think about that. So yeah, here I would definitely extend. Here I would definitely extend. I mean, like, sorry, here I would most definitely extend this. Because generally, like, white would probably do something like this, and if I was black, I would probably just go here. That's probably how I would think this would actually turn out. Or if you don't want to go there, you can just go here. Like, there's a lot of potential here. Because white generally would not want to extend more into this and get closer to this group. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking right here. Letting me have this is a little bit of a mistake. Connecting and then getting here. This is really big right now because I would have to do this. So that should be played immediately. That's something. This stone is something I always miss. So instead of doing this, white should play down here. Because even if black plays down here, if white jumps in, there's not much territory in here. So essentially, like, this move is better than this move. So you can see that I lost about 1.5 points on this. This is Sente, because I can't have you cut here right now. So here, I'm going to play the shoulder hit to decrease the effectiveness. By the way, it's here you should still play this first. I have to answer that. I play the shoulder hit to decrease the potential of the territory up here. So here, I would probably still favor this, at least right now. You have to settle your bottom group first, I think. Here, this is just a weird shape. If you're going to play this way, I feel like you should probably play this and do something like this. Letting me get this block kind of almost settles me, because I have this 2-space jump as well. So you take away the 2-space jump, but you let me Hane. Doing this is okay, but it's not Sente for you guys, for white, for black. So if you do this, you should probably retreat here, because at this point, I'm probably, like, if you retreat, I'm probably going to jump like he says. If you retreat, I am not going to. If you retreat here, like, right? If you retreat here, I am most likely not going to take this at first because this is too dangerous for white. This is way, way too dangerous for white. So if you actually retreat first, I would go do this. Doing this and letting me Atari is really, really critical, a very critical mistake. Like doing this is like too critical of a mistake. Because this strengthens my group of stones and it weakens your group of stones. So that's why C7 is very, very critical. Because like, yes, this strengthens my group. This weakens your group of stones. Yes, this sort of settles you, but at the same time, I can kind of ignore you and just leap out this way. So C7 is very critical because it strengthens one side and weakens the other side. So doing this, I don't know if that was right. I might have just been better off doing this, or maybe even just this, honestly. I don't know. But either way, I Hanade, that was a connect. And then, see, like, you're just giving me another Sente move here since you connected. Then I do this, then I go over here. So essentially, like, this group is really hard to attack right now because I got this Atari. And I've gotten most of this bottom territory, whereas black hasn't really gotten anything. I've successfully flattened out his shape and didn't give him any territory. So very, very good for white. That's why I'm at plus 8.6 right now. He does this. I do this. I might have been better off just taking this, honestly. I think I would have been better off just taking this. Because that's an I no matter what. And if he wants to do this, you can just kind of like jump out and there's very little way he can attack you. So I'm going to do this. He extends out. I'm going to connect. He does that. I do this. He does that. I'm going to fly out here. So this is pretty basic in terms of like Joseki's you do. I mean, not the after number 10, it's not really that basic, but like after number 10, it's really not that basic. Here, black would obviously do this. And yes, while it does look like white did get this, you did get the wrap on the outside and you have the invasion in the corner. So that would kind of be the exchange right there. But pretty much like all the way up until here, this is a pretty basic exchange that you do. Honestly, if the AI didn't tell me that, I probably wouldn't do this though. But that is the basic exchange that I do know of. But you really can't kill white groups here. So you go here, I do this. This is okay. But realistically, like it's hard to attack this. And plus, you've given yourself a lot of trouble over here. Like if white just connects, then black actually has a bit of trouble like over here because you don't really know like if you can live or not. So invasion here, I'm going to do this. Realistically, this is probably better. This just kind of ends the invasion. This realistically ends the invasion. So like I should have just done that. I could have done this, but I didn't really want to fight with this group here. And I wasn't really sure how this would actually come out. So I didn't want to isolate another group. But that is the other, if you want to fight, that is the other option. You could probably do something like this. But I really wasn't that interested in fighting right now. So I did the wrong move. Like I said, I probably should have just done this. To me, this is a mistake. This is definitely a mistake to me, doing this. Because I mean, like, look, when I do this move is a throwaway stone. What I was planning to do was actually, I was planning just to do this and basically like give you those two stones. That was actually my plan. I can't beat you in terms of liberties here. So there's no reason to actually take this ko. This ko is this ko is actually really light for me because I'm not really losing much here, but it's really heavy for black. So I'm going to take this first. He does this. I'm obviously going to connect. He's going to take it back. I'm going to extend. He's going to do this. I'm going to take it back. And then obviously he's going to take it back. So I probably didn't play right there. I'm not really sure. Like, he's lucky in the fact that I didn't have that many ko threats. Because if I had a lot of ko threats, he'd be in a lot of trouble. He would actually be in a lot of trouble if I had a lot of ko threats. I didn't really see another viable ko threat. I guess I could have done this. He could have taken this, and I could have done this. Now, I don't think I can... because this is here, I can't kill him, but this would actually be this would actually be very, very valuable for me in the center. So I probably should have like looked for that co-threat. So this was a bit of a loss for me, just jumping in. And then he's continuing to attack my group, but I don't think this is really that attackable. Also, if he did this, I would have just followed up. Because if he does something else, like there's still problems if I come out this way. So this stone is completely sacrificable. Yeah, so for lower rank people, like, don't connect this. When he does this, because this would give you, this is completely problematic for you now. So just sacrifice the stone. It's not worth very much. Come down here. He does that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Generally, this is going to be a bad move. If you can't disconnect someone, this is a bad move. It takes away one liberty over here, and it also makes you a little bit heavier here. So that's generally a bad move. Come down here, and then jump out. I feel like at this point, you should just give up on attacking this group and probably just do this. That's huge right there. So he's going to do that. I'm going to come here. He does that. I'm going to do this. He does that. I'm going to come in here. He finally does that. That's really, really big. That's still very big. But since I have this move now, I'm not as afraid of getting cut off. So he's going to do that. He's going to do this. I'm definitely going to do this. This is Sente. He can't really do anything about this. This is definitely Sente. So like this move is pretty bad because this is obviously Sente. You pretty much have to connect this and let me come out here. So this is wrong because if he takes this, all I have to do is do this. He has too many connect. He can't connect. So that's just a calculation mistake on his part. And like I know this shape better because I played a lot of games, so I know this shape pretty well. I know that was going to turn out pretty much in my favor. This is generally bad. You don't do this. If you're going to do anything, you would probably disconnect here. If I do this, you come up here, and then you do this. And then actually no. Yeah, like you would do this and try to fight the Ko. But once again, you really don't want to fight this Ko. And even if you fight this Ko, I can kind of just do this. So this is not good for him. Black would definitely want to take this at this point. And then white would probably want to do this just to secure. But this isn't really that much of an advantage for black. So, you know, it's not a good invasion here. Also, this would actually be a really good block for black if it wasn't for the fact that this was already all taken, because this is too weak for you to do this right now. So I saw that. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And of course, when I actually come that out, like this is very hard to save. I don't know how you could save this actually. I don't think you can because I would just follow up with whatever. So extend back out. Yeah, so here you would probably just do this. I would do this, and then you would take off these these two. And that's actually a loss for me because I did gain territory here, and also I would probably have to do this. You did get Sente, and you got all this territory here. So that would actually be a loss for me. If I was black, that's what I would have done. I would have just... White should have just connected. Black cannot win this fight. There's no way black can win this fight because even in a situation like this, white has stuff. His mistake in trying to kill the group of stones here. Once he Atari'd here, I should have connected, but I just did this first. I definitely just did this first. And black should have just taken this and then let me do this and then killed these two stones. And that's actually overall a win for black in this scenario. Because generally white already has an eye here. Black doesn't have an eye, so it's when you have a lot of mutual liberties, when you're going in a fight, when you actually have a lot of mutual liberties, generally the side with an eye pretty much always wins. So this is going to be an uphill battle for him here, obviously. And he's actually down by one. If I just did this, this would be Koliv. This would be Koliv if I just did this, but obviously the Tetsuji here is obviously just to do this first, because that actually because that tightens him 1 liberty, and there's no co-live here. So that's what you would actually do here. That's why I did this. Like this Tsuji, this kind of Tsuji is one that lower SDKs do need to learn, because this will actually save you in a lot of spots. Basic liberty tightening Tsujis. Of course, I'm going to do that first. Doing this first obviously gets you a tiger's mouth. So moves like this are, as you move up into like the Dan levels, they're ones that you actually need to learn. Because if I didn't do this first, I would be in trouble later. This doesn't work because of that move. I mean, I'm not really in danger anyways, but here, obviously that would be a pretty good move if I didn't have this, because obviously, you know, I can just make an eye here. So that doesn't work. That's a mistake by me. I should have connected this. I just forgot about that. So because that's Sente. I need to come up. Otherwise, he has the E18 move. So I actually, it is a Sente for him. That's why I did that. This is pretty big because it does threaten this group here. I'm going to do this first. That's always Sente. He's not going to give up those 4. And then I'm going to do that because he has to answer down here. If he just kills my stones, then I think he's dead if I do this. Yeah. No, maybe not. He might be. I don't know. He is dead if I do that. So no, he's actually not, because he can do this. If I do this, I guess he is dead, because yeah, there's no way out. There's really no way out of this. He doesn't have enough liberty, so I guess he is dead. If so, he actually has to. He has to answer one, and then I'm gonna just take these. And that's the end of the game. So it was a pretty close game until we kind of started fighting. There were a lot of fighting miscalculation errors. I think overall he just went. He just went like way too. I think Black just didn't recognize like. First of all, like the first big mistake.
Challenge received.
The first big mistake was when Black didn't recognize that C7 was a really critical move. And the second was like after C7, he continued attacking this in a way where it didn't really benefit him. When you're attacking someone, you should try to, if you're not confident in killing them, you have to attack in a way that benefits you. And he didn't do that. He went way too aggressive on this when this group wasn't really in any real danger. So that is actually the problem with this game right here. So it was a good game. It was definitely closer than most of my games. But realistically, that was the big mistake. Like wrong in the it was definitely like the attack was definitely like the attack was definitely like in the wrong direction. So that's that game. I'll play one more. Usual 6 to 12K. So I will create this challenge and someone can actually accept. I'll wait usual 10 minutes for someone to accept. If someone does not accept, I will probably just go do some errands or something, because I do have plenty of those errands to do. So I'm just going to wait for someone to accept the challenge that I made. Wait until 4:51, 6 to 12K as usual. And yeah, please hit the likes and subscribes. That would actually help me a lot. You find the challenge down here in custom games short game. That's where you find the challenge on OGS. On online Go server, it's the short games down here. You have to be on OGS though. I do like I have my time limits are always 10 minutes plus 5x 30 seconds because that's a slow enough game where it's not blitz. It gives you some time to think.
Game started.
But it's not like, you know, you have like forever to think because I honestly don't have time to play like 3-hour games. I think most people can sympathize with not having time to play 3-hour games. That's fine. Going to approach. Basic Joseki. That's not the basic Joseki. You really don't want to do this. This is actually quite bad for black. I probably shouldn't have done that, actually. Black didn't get enough in exchange for that. Let's do this side. Ooh, I don't think you generally want to do that. I think it's fine, actually. The thing is, like, you can't do this. I don't think you can do this once you have this Hane here. That's why you don't. That's why you extend instead of Hane. I can do this in cut, but I don't really want to do that in cut. It's kind of risky to do that. I'm just gonna Hane. This shape isn't as complete. Also gives me Sente on this one, which is pretty big. That move isn't that great. It doesn't really do much. I'm going to extend here to reduce his possibilities here. And also, like, if he extends over, it threatens my group a little bit. But remember, I still have, I'm not going to respond to that. But this is too small right now. He can take the corner, but then he would be hurting his thing over here. Do I need to respond to that? Yeah, I guess I will. I'm not going to respond to that one, though. I don't think I really need to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and take territory and see what he does on the attack. It's not a bad move. I mean, it's a little bit problematic, but not really. That's generally not something you do. I think I would have probably just covered. I think there's too many use moves here for him to actually do that to actually do that. He does get some territory, but it's going to cost him a lot to get that territory. Like letting me pull through here, that's costing a lot. Okay. I don't know if this ladder actually works though. Probably not. No. Oh no, no it doesn't. I'm gonna extend this way. I probably wouldn't have cut if I was him though. I really wouldn't have cut if I was him.
Challenge received.
I'm taking a big risk by doing this. I'm just trying to see what his response actually is. So there is a pretty big Tsuji here that would actually put me in a lot of trouble since he did that. So I'm probably going to have to do this to fix it. Usually like moves like this are bad moves. Definitely bad moves. But in this case, I'll do it. That's not good.
You have won.
Variation, best way to punish black. Oh, yeah, that's right, actually. That is actually a really good point. I'm not familiar with that one, but yeah, you're right. That is a very good way to punish black in the corner. Because like, once you Hane that, you do leave that cut. But the other thing I actually wanted to talk about here was this. This is obviously a bad variation for black. I've done this variation multiple times. The correct way to play this is this. That's the correct way to play this. You're getting essentially too ahead of you're losing too much here. The reason you do this, I mean, that's the this is kind of like the Joseki, and that's how you should play it. The problem with doing this is that like one of the problems with doing this. Obviously, there's the variation. There's this variation. This is a fighting variation. I'm actually not too confident in this variation. It is generally a good variation for white, but I'm actually not too confident in this variation because I guess like yeah, white honestly should win this. I'm actually not too familiar with the permutations because this is not a variation I play very often. I would have to study this, but yeah, this is a very punishing thing for black, but I'm not actually sure how it turns for white. I might, like if I played this, I might end up giving up 3 stones in the corner, but generally, yeah, that is the variation to punish black. But the thing is, once you actually do this, like when I play this move, you can no longer do this because I can just go ahead and disconnect here. This is actually a big problem for black. This this just has all sorts of problems, honestly. It honestly just has all sorts of problems. So that's why like generally I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. And this isn't too bad for black actually. It's not too bad, but I do get the Sente, which is pretty big. When I do this, I didn't want him to extend and do this because it does put a little bit of pressure on this group, and it does expand the possibilities for this here. So this, like when white does this, black shouldn't respond. This is too small. I'm going to do this first. It solidifies my corner, and getting a response from that, that's all I really wanted. Doing this, obviously. So the other thing is when I do this, like actually, if I was black, I would have probably just done this. I might have done this. I don't know. It does hurt this over here, so it may not be the best move, but white has some of its problems up here as well, so it depends, I guess. This is okay as well. This is actually better than that's better than what I just showed. This is fine. That's generally not a good move. Don't actually do this. I was just testing to see his response. Come up here. I'm gonna respond, get more territory. He does this. So I would have just clasped, like I would have just done this. This is actually pretty hard for white to respond to, because black's actually really strong here. So like something like this is not good for white. White's kind of trapped in. So I would have just gone overhead. I think that's definitely the right move. Doing this isn't good because I can just follow you down. I mean, these aren't good moves for me, but coming out here, doing this. So you have to realize that I did this because if I just did this, I'm afraid black's going to do this move. That's actually impossible for me to deal with, so that's why I actually did this first. So with here,
Challenge received.
Black can actually do this. And that's probably like the best response black has right now. Doing this, obviously letting me disconnect. It's not good. Also, I did this because now like if I Atari here, you can't connect. So when I do this, I think like you can just play this, honestly. Like I have to respond to this and then you can clasp over. Or like I would just extend out and then you can extend down. So you have to look like, you actually, like when I do stuff like this, you have to look for sentes that can actually fix your cuts. So like this, yeah, so like you have to, when I do this, you have to look for sentes that can fix your cuts. Like this is actually kind of like realistically, like in a normal, like, I mean, in a regular game, I wouldn't have made that invasion anyways. But realistically, like this is actually a pretty disastrous situation for white, because like yeah, because there are moves like this. If I respond, then you can just clasp overhead. Maybe I don't really know if this works or not. You kind of have to go, if you do this, I come up here. This might not work for white actually, but generally it's still not a good it's not a good situation for white. That lets me cut, obviously. He has to connect and I do this, and that's a big loss for white there. When I do this, like, I mean, you can still, well, that doesn't really work because you can still do things like this and just trade this way. Or just try to do something like this. I don't know if this would work though. No, this won't, this doesn't really do anything, but yeah, this is I mean, you could also try doing this, I guess. But I don't think this is, I don't know if this is actually worth it for black, because like, yes, you get the 4 stones. The 4 stones are pretty large, but you've also given up this side, so I'm not really sure if that's worth it or not. So yeah, once white cuts, white has the advantage here. And that's where the game ends. White's only slightly ahead, but I guess, yeah, it's kind of limited. White Q15. Okay. Um, Q15. Okay, let me actually get this. Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have enough liberties. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, that. Yeah, he doesn't have enough liberties down here. So yeah, yeah. So I think that's all I'm going to play for today. Hope you like this stream. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. And yeah, it's good to have like other like higher ranked players like comment on this because there are a lot of things I would miss. Because like I said, I'm not very familiar with all these variations. I don't play this particular one very often because when I play even games, no one actually hanes. So it's good to have other like higher ranked players input as well. So thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys later.